exquisite perfection of God's light. Heart of God. In every moment, there is an acceptance. Every beloved has had an identity that's been self-made and made in agreement with separation. And to have a lifetime that your calling is to remember a truth that has absolutely no comparison to anything that's been made in this world. The truth of your divine heart, your exquisite identity as the child of God, has no possible match in this world. In this world, what is perceived as success is to win and be better than others in some way, and to prove that you're better is seen as a purpose, and that is an important purpose. But when you enter and are called spiritually, it's truly the beginning of a new life, a new way that has no competition, that has no trying to be the best instead of someone else being the best. And in truth, in the truth of love, it's the union. It's the union of love that becomes the purpose and the result. To join in union is the only purpose. There is no purpose in winning. There is no purpose in being better than. Your divine truth, your soul, your heart cannot get more perfect, cannot compete with another heart, cannot compete with another life. There is one life. There is one heart. The fear that runs the ego says there isn't enough. There isn't enough acknowledgement. There isn't enough success. There isn't enough winning. There isn't enough of anything. And in this world, that is what runs. The belief that there is not enough. And with that belief, fear has a home that is guaranteed, that fear will dominate. Because when you believe there is not enough, when you hold with humanity that there is not enough, you will have to then win. You will have to prove. Because everyone is then scrambling for the same identity, for the same winning. Everyone who has tried to use winning dances with pain and suffering. The winning can give you that temporary satisfaction, that temporary success. But as soon as that temporary success fades, the fear comes, because now you have to protect your territory. You have to protect your identity and your image. You have to keep proving yourself. And it's always a place of fear that the enemy will discover you napping or not battling hard enough. In the journey of love, it's the union, it's the oneness that is sought. Not to get, but to return to the justified true life. The journey of returning to love is not necessarily a popular one in the world. It can even seem childish. But every beloved who walks a spiritual path has that awareness within that this is the journey of all these lifetimes, the journey to come home to the heart that is God's. And who could imagine that you could be the happiest, the joy of life, that you could be that, and it had nothing dependent on it that's outside? That it has absolutely no dependence on ownership of anything, anyone acknowledging, recognizing anything? That you can be nobody and be all joy? Because the realization comes that you are no body, you are not a body, and the identity that's been honed and made is this tiny little insignificant identity, and what is truly within is the light of the universe, the magnificence of creation. When beloveds try to see that magnificence through the eyes of the ego, it goes into comparisons within the world of success or being the winner. It's almost impossible to embrace the magnificence of union that has nothing to do with winning, nothing to do with proving. I say it all the time, there's nothing to prove. But because it's so familiar, the proving, the energy of proving is so familiar, so seemingly normal, that proving is running even when there's not an awareness of it. It's like it's in your DNA to prove, and it very well may be, because the body is there to prove. But truly, in the surrender of proving is the freedom of love, where you truly rest, because there is nothing, absolutely nothing, to prove. To prove something means that there is a judge, that there is a judge that is in charge. And this judge is the unknown commodity, and it represents every element of your journey, and every beloved who represented someone that you wanted to prove something to, or that you felt you had to prove something to, whether it was your first grade teacher, or an uncle, next door neighbor, doesn't matter. But all the way along the journey, in lifetime after lifetime, proving has been the element of slavery, because it holds slavery as essential. And the proving is connected with a vague authority that just seems to be there all the time. And when you turn the corner and you align yourself in allegiance to the divine, in devotion to love, the prover can rest, and the authority that was never really there fades away. Because the relationship with the divine is pure and holy, and has not one element of proving. Cannot prove your divinity. It is established. It is all that there is. And because humanity can't recognize that, because of the ego agreement, every beloved who accepts God, love, joy, and peace, everyone that is accepting that truth, reality, is here to walk this earth plane in freedom, and demonstrating, not proving, that only love exists. There is no caveat in that demonstration. It is an expression of love. That's all. And that expression of love doesn't look for acknowledgement and doesn't look for a payoff. And in that not looking for the payoff and not looking for the acknowledgement is the peace of the universe. To serve love without conditions is the true happiness. It is the true joy. It is the burdenless life. It is as if the yokes of limitation have been removed and you are free to love. You are free to offer love. You are free to be the truth of your divine self. It's the most amazing thing that it looks like such a journey of intention and sometimes called work in the spiritual journey. But really, it's just the acceptance of your divine self and the acceptance of love. How many times a day does the mind go to proving? Sometimes the proving of that goes with the mind, that fantasy of proving is an escape route. And it can, for a few minutes, feel very comforting that in the fantasy you're going to finally have the acknowledgement that's been missing in all these lifetimes. But imagine taking off the yoke and seeing each beloved as one with you. The word enemy is used spiritually to distinguish the ego's way. The ego's way is to see everyone as an enemy because of the belief of scarcity. If there isn't enough, there's always too many, and that means there has to be some that are an enemy. The divine is calling everyone to forgive with the heart everyone that has been held in suspicion or fear of scarcity. The belief in scarcity runs through everything. When someone is doing something ordinary, like in the grocery line, how does scarcity enter? Scarcity enters with the reaction that if you're standing in the line at the grocery store, you can have a reaction because there are too many in the grocery line and they are holding you back. Something just so simple. But this is how the ego sees. The ego sees through, what am I getting? and what's in the way. We've all been in line to get gas. We've all been in line at the grocery store. We've all been put on hold on a telephone business call of some kind. It doesn't matter what it is. You have the opportunity of opening your heart and being healed through the letting go of scarcity. Which one in that grocery line is the enemy? Which one needs to move out because they're taking too long, or the line is too long? In the spiritual journey, you're standing in line and you're exactly perfectly where you're supposed to be. Being in the present moment where love exists, everything is in harmony and peace. And everyone who is in that line is in perfect harmony for your learning, because everyone who is there is for your learning. That's all. To learn to love. And the temptation of not wanting them in line is where the deep healing can really be. They're all just habits. They're not sins. They're mistakes because you were incarnated into the belief that there was scarcity. You don't know how that was. No one questions the scarcity except that it's just a problem. But every beloved can let this belief in scarcity go and realize that you are always in the perfect place, in the perfect time, for the learning that is perfect for you. And in that, there is no scarcity. There cannot be any scarcity. And one of the main ways is that your heart has so much love. It is God's heart. And God's heart is limitless. There is no limit to the love that can be offered. There is no limit to the generosity of the heart, of how you see everyone. There is no limit in your offering of love. Every day is that choice to love or to fear. And it is the great blessing of everyone who walks in the spiritual journey to recognize that they have a choice. Because in the world, for most, that's not in an awareness. But as you choose, as every beloved who chooses love and to see that there is a choice, you bring that love and you bring that choice to humanity by your presence, by your love. When I first heard the hymn of José's, "Please teach your children who don't know yet how to love," I thought, well, I know that applies to me because I haven't got a clue, but I thought everybody else here knew that secret. But to love without conditions is a journey like no other. And we do need that prayer. Please teach your children. Teach me the way. Show me, hold my hand, and walk with me as you show me the truth of love. Let that prayer vibrate within. Don't be afraid of it. And it will always be answered. The divine will walk next to you, with you, so close that you won't be able to tell where you start and where the divine ends, because it is one. Have your senses ready for that communion. You may hear it, you may see it, you may sense it, but invite it. You're never walking alone, but it's much more helpful if you're aware that you're not. And turn toward that love and that abundance of love. And begin to open your heart with a sense of abundance, an agreement with abundance. And there's nothing to hold back, nothing at all. In this moment, in the truth of abundance, affirming this universe is all love. There is no abundance, there is no scarcity in the universe at all. There is nothing but love in this sanctuary because nothing else exists. There is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. And we do move and breathe and live in that life force as one in the union of love's abundance. Only love exists. Only abundance is the truth of love. Thank God. When I feel this pain inside and I find nowhere to hide, Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. This sorrow now imprisons me. Somehow I need to be set free. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Heal me of my hurt and fear. Reveal the face of God so near. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. The safety of a mother's care, for Jesus it was always there. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. As I move toward the light, defend me from the dark of night. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Thank you for the love you give. In compassion for your son I live. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. The small boat is coming. It's here, it's the love, it's the light. It's the small boat that takes you as you rest in God and returns you to truth. It's opening the path of love as the Blessed Mother is guiding the small boat. I surrender, I surrender, I surrender to the will of the divine. And in my heart, I am the kingdom of love. Vem chegando, vem chegando, vem chegando, vem chegando, a Baquinha vem chegando, a Baquinha vem chegando, e o amor à luz, e o amor à luz, na Baquinha vem chegando, na Baquinha vem chegando, vem abrindo o caminho, vem abrindo o caminho de Deus nosso Senhor, de Deus nosso Senhor, a Virgem Mãe que me guia, a Virgem Mãe que me guia, a Baquinha vem chegando, a Baquinha vem chegando, é o meu coração. É o meu coração, eu sou renho de amor, eu sou renho de amor. The sole heir to the king. Perhaps for one moment out of the day, it may be of value to torture yourself with thoughts like, I should be doing a hell of a lot more with my life than I am, because I'm so damn talented. But remember, for just 1 minute out of the day, with all the rest of your time, it would be best to try looking upon yourself more as God does. For God knows your true royal nature. God is never confused and can only see himself in you. My dear, Venus just leaned down and asked me to tell you a secret, to confess. She is just a mirror that has been stealing your light and music for centuries. She knows, as does Hafiz, that you are the sole heir to the king, and to accept so. I should be doing a hell of a lot more with my life than I am, because I'm so damn talented. imagine that you only had a moment every day to give that any space. And the rest of the time you accepted that you are the heir of God's love, that you are the heir of the King, that you are completely already so beyond the talent that you think you may have, that the talent will become very minimal. And the only way that that talent will meet its potential is to have that talent surrendered to God, in the acknowledgement that whatever offering there can be through you, it is coming from God. There is no talent of the personal, but there is the beautiful expression of God that can come through any form at all. But you are the instrument. And that instrument goes so far beyond the talent or the achievements. The instrument that you are, at the center of that instrument is the soul that is God. Your expression is either the instrument of fear or the instrument of love. And to offer that love is the great gift, the sole heir to the King. Now, to be the sole heir to the King, even though it's spelled S-O-L-E, is to really know that it is the soul that is the heir to the King, and that the soul is the oneness. It isn't your personal soul, even though it may be in your custody. It is the soul of creation that you are holding and treasuring and bringing to the light to return home. With all the rest of your time, it would be best to try looking upon yourself more as God does. In just a moment of contemplation, if you enter into that meditation that God sees you, doesn't see you as you see you, God sees you as a reflection, as the beauty and perfection of the Spirit. Imagine that in the truth of the divine, there is not one possibility, not one little tiny anything of judgment of you, that you have never been judged. Even though everyone holds that they must be being judged all the time, there is no judgment in God. It doesn't exist. It's something that has been made up to be used to affirm separation. All opinions, all judgments. What could there be possibly to judge? If you are the sole heir of God, and you are, you're perfect. And there is absolutely nothing to judge. Everything that you believe may be going on, every thought that you may have that says assessments or opinions or whatever, even when they're self-identified, they're not worth anything. Your assessments have no value because they are not capable of assessing the divinity of God. It's not possible. So putting so much effort into seeing how and what others have as value has absolutely no point. Don't spend more than a minute that you should be doing a lot more than with your life than you are. You are devoted to the only actual purpose of your life, which is to remember. It's the only reason for incarnation. And all of the time that is spent on judgment, why don't you put them all into a big bag, like one of those plastic bags, and take them, throw them into the water for transformation, and say goodbye. Say goodbye to them all. Because I guarantee you that every assessment and every opinion and every judgment, whether it's projected outwards or held within, it always comes back here and is painful and has no redeeming value. God is not asking you to judge yourself. And what the ego likes to do is to judge you before somebody else does. It's easier, it seems, at least the ego convinces, that I'll be rough on myself, so then when somebody else judges me, it won't be as painful. I'll have already done the judgment. And if you think that judging someone else will make you feel better, it never does. It never, ever does. It does maybe for a minute, there's a sense of satisfaction, but then comes fear, because judgment always brings fear. It brings fear of retaliation. And all the while, the divine is calling to you to be the sole heir of the king. And the king knows no judgment. It's not possible for there to be love and judgment. The universe is love, and everything else has been just made up. I wrote down this teaching because, and it's a longer teaching. To embrace reality is not to see the ego and its thoughts, its acts, its laws, its beliefs, its dreams, its fantasies, its hope, its plans, and its strategies. To embrace reality is not to see the ego and all of its games. You have the capacity to turn away from the fantasies, the laws, the beliefs, the habits, all of it. That you have the capacity because you have accepted that you have choice. And even though the choice doesn't seem balanced sometimes, because the ego's voice is always loudest and it always speaks first, so it's And it's also very familiar, so it's easy to turn toward that voice. But begin the practice of turning to the voice of quiet, to turn to the voice that whispers. That whispering voice is waiting for you in your quiet stillness. Don't be afraid of the stillness. Sometimes the stillness can be referred to as a void. It's not a dangerous place. It is where you live within. It's not a place to be afraid of. Beloveds are afraid of the stillness because of the voice of the ego that they're afraid that they're going to hear. That voice that is so mean and nasty and doesn't even need to form into words, but you've been hearing it lifetime after lifetime. You've been hearing that voice that says, you're not the sole heir of the king. You're many things, but you're not one with God. That's the ego's voice. And it does speak loudest. But you have the power within you to turn away from it and to call it for what it is. Lies. Complete lies. Not in anger, not in fighting with the ego, but laughing. Laughing at the insanity that you, the sole heir of the king, could be less, could be ashamed of anything, could be fearful of anything, could be worried about anything. All of that given to God because you are the sole heir of the king. And you can choose. And as many teachings will tell you, you must choose. At some point, everybody must choose. But why not choose now? That voice, that disturbing, attacking voice has no purpose and does not need to be given space. It can be left on the side of the road. It can be turned away from and walked away from. You don't have to defend yourself as the sole heir of the king. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to defend yourself in any way. And if you are embracing the abundance of God's love and trusting in that love, the fear will go away because your attention and your focus will be in the truth. God promises me happiness, promises me peace, even while I'm walking in the dream. And I will not allow that other voice to have space. That is the right use of denial, is the willingness to refuse it. To feed the ego is to cause pain. And the sole heir of the king cannot have pain because there is no pain in love. There is no problem in love. There is no difficulty in love. There is only love. To be happy and peace-filled is to not only reject the ego, but to truly relinquish all expectations of how things should be, but to trust that the divine can't take you someplace that isn't perfect. Everything in the truth of love has perfection all over it. The false self is made to appease others and get approval, or something you believe you need to get. The authority of God is the supplier of the abundance of love. There's nothing to get through anything else. You're bringing, when you join with the truth of God, which is your choice, you're bringing that love. It's not just to heal the heart that's within you, but it's to bring that love to everyone without reservations, because there's nothing to get, nothing at all. I pull this card, and I pull it often because it is so simple. I merely follow, for I would not lead. I would not lead. It isn't even saying, maybe I'll lead. No, I would not lead. How can I lead? That is the question in the spiritual journey. How could I lead when I don't know where I'm going? But I will merely follow. I will merely follow is a disturbance to the ego identity. Because when you are following, you don't know where you're going. You're trusting beyond something that you've known. And you're putting your faith and your trust in the divine teachings that say, yes, put your trust in me. Whether it's in the name of the one who came and was known as Jesus, or the Buddha, or any spiritual way, you're following. You're following, and you are the child that is following. If you're following, there is one more element that's really, really essential. That's the happiness of following, the joy of following, that you're being shown, and that you're being led by the magnificence of the universe, and that power is so devoted to you that power will pull you into the way of love. That in all the billions of beloveds, spirit of love is pulling you. Your prayer, I will follow, is heard and answered, and the divine comes and serves you. That's how much you are loved. That if all the billions of beloveds that are saying, somebody help me, the divine is with you. Not as opposed to being with others, but is so magnanimous and all powerful and the whole wisdom of the universe that it can find you and lead you. That's how much you are loved. And all that the leading is for is to make it easy for you, not to test you, not to see if you're going to do it right, but because the compassion of love says, I hear you. I hear your longing. I hear your prayer. And there is nothing in God that is not wanting your peace and your happiness, and to find your way back to that peace. Divine, you are the one who gave the plan for my salvation to me. You have set the way I am to go, the role to take, and every step in my appointed path. I cannot lose the way. I can but choose to wander off a while and then return. Your loving voice will always call me back and guide my feet aright. My beloveds, all can follow in the way that I walk. Yet I merely follow in the way to you, as you direct me and would have me go. There is a peace and a comfort in being led. Once you overcome the fear that the ego is screaming, you will find comfort in being led back to love. To have those mighty companions show you the way. So let us follow one who knows the way. We need not hurry, and we cannot stray except an instant from his loving hand. We walk together, for we follow him. And it is he who makes the ending sure and guarantees a safe returning home. There is nothing more comforting than to sink and rest in the assurance that you are being led and that you don't have to worry about what to say or what to do, because love will direct you, because you are so loved. And there is nothing else that is true. You are the light of God. You all are the sole heir of the King. I keep seeing this other poem. It is like finding another position to make the truth, coming up with a new poem. I'm surprised at how many ways I guess being plugged into the infinite helps. Plugged into the infinite. That's your heart. Your heart is the center of the plug-in to the infinite. You give your mind and give your heart, give your life, give everything, and you're plugged in. And when you're plugged in, you have access. There's nothing that you cannot commune with. It's all there for you, waiting to serve you. And you can leave and come back, and there's no repercussion. There's no one on the other end saying, oh, you left. No, you can go to the back of the line. I'm not ready to talk to you. You disappointed me. There's no such thing. There is no, I'm sorry, because you have done nothing that has done anything to change the truth of the love that you are. There is no retaliation for how many lifetimes you waited. There is no retaliation for all the thoughts that you've had of upset or condemnation of others or anything else. There's no repercussions. There is only the self-forgiveness for your mistaken choice that took you to a painful place. But in God, there is no retaliation. And you're not sent to the back of the line to wait, to teach you a good lesson. You had your lessons. You had your lessons with the ego. The divine knows how painful it is to be living in separation. God doesn't want you to suffer more. You've already suffered just by the belief that you are separate. And none of it is true. And to bring that love to every situation is what God is asking. To manifest love, to not be afraid to offer love, and to see every beloved in the innocence that God sees you. That's all that it is. You're just extending innocence. If you are willing to be accepted as innocent, because that's what you are, if you are willing to embrace that with the spirit of love, then what the spirit of love asks of you is to extend that innocence to every beloved, and to see that every beloved is calling for love. And you are the sole heir of the King that answers that call. That's your journey now, is to extend love. And what a beautiful, perfect way to remember. Every time you extend love without conditions, your heart expands. Every time you extend love without conditions, your mind heals. Every time you love without conditions, you find more peace and more connection in that truth of love. The sole heir to the King. And Venus just leaned down and told me that she has been stealing your light and music for centuries. So there is a place of forgiveness for the grand joke of the planet Venus. That all that love comes back because it never left. Even if Venus was stealing your light, there was so much light that it couldn't be even dented. Expand your light to all that you meet, just in the yes of love itself, and to have no expectations. To be happy and peace-filled, relinquish expectations. It is the most beautiful place to live without expectations, because you're trusting that everything will open in perfection. It's in the hands of God. And that is the place of resting. And that is the place of the heart learning to open as the sole heir of the King. One heart, denying all limitation. When I use the word limitation, it is to signify scarcity. The belief of limitation says, I believe in scarcity. So when you are accepting that there is no limit to love, there is no limit to your divine light, there is no limit. Scarcity disappears. Accept the abundance, the limitlessness of your divine light, and share it. You have to share it. It's how it expands. No sin, nothing to prove, nothing to get, only love.